Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from the new film, Edge of Tomorrow. The best way to describe Edge of Tomorrow is to say it's a conceptual genre summer blockbuster, and it's almost directed by Doug Liman in a very kind of usual kind of genre big budget sci-fi movie way. And if it didn't have this concept, that's the kind of movie it would be, which wouldn't be very exciting. But through the concept is really what makes this film different, what makes this film unique. You know, Roger Ebert always had that thing that you should judge a film not what it's about, but how it is about it. And often in the summer, that's kind of the problem with summer movies, especially the way people are seeing movies. We're more seeing movies because of what they're about, whether it's X-Men, Spider-Man, Superman, and not so much how they are about it. That's almost secondary. And Edge of Tomorrow is kind of the opposite. The concept of this film is what makes it interesting, what makes Edge of Tomorrow a good movie. This says something about a good genre filmmaker, that they could take on a concept and do the kind of usual genre thing, but want to do it in a different way because they would otherwise get bored. And I get that through Doug Liman's direction, that I feel like he would get bored if he had to have made just a usual genre summer blockbuster. He needed that twist to keep him interested, and by default he gets us, the audience, more interested because you can tell he's actually having fun making a genre summer blockbuster. William Cage, played by Tom Cruise, who is head of marketing for the military, shows up in London and is told by a commanding officer there that he has to go into battle and take a camera crew with him to show Earth's big victory so that it can help get more people in the army for later battles. And Tom Cruise doesn't want to do this, but he is forced into it and then has to fight in this big battle invasion against these mimic aliens who have taken over all of Europe. Then he goes into battle and dies, but takes out an alien, and the alien's blood squirts all over him and kills him. Then he wakes up and he has to live the same day over and over, or basically like 2 days. He has to live the same 2 days over and over again and lives through the battle, and he slowly learns more and more about how to get better at the weird mechanical army suit he has. He meets Emily Blunt, who plays a soldier who took out tons of people in a previous battle, and he tries to use her and finds out that she had a similar condition before, but after she was injured in that battle, she got out of the time loop because of her blood getting changed because of an injury, but she tells him he shouldn't do that so they can eventually win the war against these aliens. But he has to kind of figure out all the different possibilities and what the best way is while using the time loop to his advantage and hopefully beat these aliens before they take over Earth. This concept feels more like a video game probably than any video game movie has, because in a video game you essentially can restart. That's kind of one of the major features of video games. And as you're playing a video game, you know, like, oh, when this happens, I do this. When something happens here, I need to do this, and so forth. And that keeps happening in Edge of Tomorrow, where Tom Cruise's character in certain situation knows, okay, he's going to look over here, so you duck down here. And it kind of is an interesting way to do a big blockbuster kind of action movie, because in most of his films, like the Mission Impossible films, it feels like he knows exactly where to act, like he's so perfect. And this character at the beginning has no military experience, but through his various times doing this, he learns to have military experience. He becomes very good because he's eventually had tons of military experience. And it feels like when you're playing a game, and at the beginning when you start any video game, you're not as good as you are after you've played it 300 times. And this film has that throughout it, and even having like a big boss at the end, you really do feel like at certain parts, oh, I'm at a big level. It makes it kind of have more of a video game feel than a lot of films have, and in a way that video game characters don't have that in them. Sonic can't remember what he did before in all the various different times you played the game, but in this, it's almost like getting the player experience that isn't actually in the game but is part of the experience of playing the game. It's kind of not that unique or that deep of a movie, but it's also really smart, and you can tell it's Doug Liman having fun. There's something about watching someone have fun with a mainstream movie. You saw it recently with the Lego movie as well. That was fun, that was cool, that was why I want to see a big blockbuster, big movie. And Edge of Tomorrow kind of gets that about itself, which was surprising. I don't love how genre blockbuster it is. Certainly I like more of how this film is about itself than what it is about, because it's not that different. I've seen this movie before, and I will see this movie next summer and probably 3 to 4 to 5 to a million summers after this. How they take out the aliens to the various supporting characters and whatnot, none of it feels terribly unique. But in a way, I think maybe that's why this film can have its concept, because it doesn't have to introduce new things. It can use the genre to its advantage, which I definitely think it does. We already know all these things. We're comfortable with these things. Like a good genre director can, he knows how to rely on those things and how to use them for the film, and I think Doug Liman did. This feels like somebody who directed Battle Los Angeles and a bunch of those or something like that, how seasoned he feels as he directs this, but that he had fun with the concept. You don't have to start the day all over again. You can feel he has fun with it, that he doesn't need us to see him learning every thing exactly, and us as the audience are fine with that. He kind of plays with the concept in ways that he'll show us some things and not show us other things. He actually shows quite a bit of humor in it. It makes it kind of more of an entertaining sci-fi film. There's so much kind of spirit and fun going throughout it. You semi let the third act go, or the end confrontation go, even though it feels so generic and kind of not the same movie I saw from when he first gets his powers to the end battle sequence. That was the movie I really liked. After that, I don't like that movie as much. I've seen that movie too many times. I'm sick of seeing that movie. I do agree, and I've read in every review, everyone's like, well, you know, they basically just let that go. And to me, that's kind of what made me not like the movie as much. It had a good pace to it, and I think the concept in this film gives this film a great flow to it that keeps it going and moving so quickly and having so much fun with it that really moves with the concept. It still can chug along faster than most big sci-fi movies could ever dream of, and does it excellently and with a lot of fun and care in there. When you go back to the kind of summer movie kind of thing that everyone, I guess, feels more comfortable with, it kind of feels like a cop-out in the end for me. Although when it was different, it was better than most summer movies usually are. Tom Cruise at the beginning doesn't feel as good at being this ad executive. He wasn't as well cast in that part, but as the film went on, he got better and better, actually. You know, at the beginning of the film when he's playing this ad executive, he felt kind of miscast, but he eventually does get the role to work for him after kind of the first day and all that stuff. I think he really gets into the role, and I think he was probably better than I've seen him probably since Mission Impossible 4. And Emily Blunt, I thought, was really good at being an action heroine. She felt like a real soldier, and they didn't play off their relationship as much as a sexual love relationship, which I thought really kind of worked for the film. And Bill Paxton, he even thought he was cast because of his part in Aliens, and I think that's a fairly smart observation, because I think so too. I like seeing Bill Paxton, but I feel like he's in his cheesy supporting role kind of phase in his career. I always hear how we're a concept-heavy movie-going audience now. We're not as much of a movie star movie-going audience, but I do think we do kind of see films about what they're about rather than how they are about it, particularly in the summer. I think non-summer we're more concept-oriented, but in the summer that changes. And I think maybe we should readjust ourselves and look at hey, this is a different slant on the big sci-fi movie, and has a better spirit and better intention, an actual director who seems to like what he's doing with it and get the characters, and he has fun with that concept and does as much as you can really do with that concept, and has some meta things going on as well. And that's more than you can ever ask for most of these summer blockbusters, who are more surface level. This film works on a complete surface level view, but it also works on a meta level where you're thinking about video games and you're thinking about, is this a commentary on other big sci-fi films and other big action films and things like that. It's better than the usual stale summer blockbuster. It has fun with itself, and that, to me, is fun to see as a moviegoer, to see a director really play in an environment that usually you feel like studios would never let you play in. So if you have seen Edge of Tomorrow and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.